Hey, this is David,
And Martha.
and we're no cruise controller. We have no cruise control.
You have no cruise
I have
control.
no cruise control. I've been told. We're fairly new at cruising. We just decided to get on and do a video about, for first time cruisers. We're fairly new at the game, and basically we just decided to do a little informational video for a lot of you out there that are wanting to cruise, or you've not cruised much. And we have cruised enough now, we think, and have tried a lot of different cruise lines while we've been cruising, to kind of give you a way to start, to figure out what you want to do. The first thing I would say, and we've talked a little about this, is the first thing you need to decide is how long you want to cruise. Cruises come in all different kinds of days. You can be gone, anywhere from, you can go on a 1-day cruise, or you can go on a world cruise that is 200 plus days. So the first thing you need to do is basically decide how long you want to cruise. And then I would say next you would probably need to decide where you want to go. There's tons of places all over the world. The one thing about cruising is you can go anywhere you want to go for as long as you want to go. When we first started cruising, my wife tried to get me to cruise for a while, and I wouldn't do it. And I finally broke down and said, "Hey, let's do a 3-day." And she did not want to do that. So anyway, we decided that we would do a 7-day, and we've done 7, 8 days. We've done some 5 days, and we've never done a 3-day, because I can tell you that a 3-day, after doing cruising a while, a 3-day definitely would be too short for us. So the first thing, like I said, you would need to do is you would definitely need to decide, how long you want to go. Wouldn't you think that?
Yes.
After that, you would need to, I would say, number 2, you would need to decide where you wanted to go. Tons of places, and part of where to you want to go, you need to decide on your location of what port you want to go out of. The port is a big thing. It's a big deciding factor in where you're going to go. Different ports have different ships, different cruise lines, and each one of those cruise lines, are going to go to a different thing. For instance, we cruise out of Miami, we cruise out of Florida a lot, and most of those are going to the Caribbean, either Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean. 2 totally different cruises too. For you new guys, it is 2 totally different cruises, Eastern versus Western. You need to look into those, and maybe at some point we will decide, we'll do one on specifically cruise points in the Eastern Caribbean, or the Western Caribbean, or the Southern Caribbean. But like Florida, basically Florida, New Orleans, they're all going to go there. If you're going out of Galveston, Texas, those are all going to be Western Caribbean, almost always out of Galveston, or anywhere in Mobile, Alabama, anywhere like that. And everything on the East Coast, the southern East Coast is going to be East and West Caribbean. You go out to New York City, a lot of those you can do Bermuda there. You can do even so, they're going down to basically the Bahamas, places like that. You're getting into a 7 to 8 day there. But you definitely need to think of those things. What ports you want to leave from, because that's going to be very important. I can tell you that Miami is probably the most busy cruise port in the world. Fort Lauderdale is probably second. Port Canaveral is also a huge cruise port, and they're adding new ships every day. Port Canaveral is really up in their game, so to speak. The next thing I would tell you that you probably needed to do is you would need to figure out what type of ship that you want to be on. Some of the newer ships are mostly bigger ships. I would tell you, if you're doing Carnival, Royal Caribbean, you're doing any of those big ones. MSC's got a huge ship, World America, coming out that we are going to be on. We are going to be on this fall on World America. We're going to try MSC for the first time
In May.
in May. We're going to try MSC for the first time in May on Seascape with our children, and then we're going to do World America in the fall in November. But ships, there's a lot of different ways. A lot of people don't like the bigger ships, the huge ships. We were on Icon of the Seas last 1st of December. And Icon obviously is Royal Caribbean's biggest ship. It's the biggest cruise ship in the world. And you know, some people don't like the big ships, but we love the big ships. We love the
Yes.
newer ships. We love the more, you know, the bigger the better for us. Although we have been on some Celebrity medium-sized ships, and we absolutely love Celebrity. But you know, do some research on that. You know, the bigger ships will give you a lot more, you know, to do, venue, you know, water parks for kids, things like that. You know, you have to know, you know, what you're going for. You know, when you say, I mean, like,
Yes, depending on whether you've got children and whether you're looking for like a laid back atmosphere is going to determine which ships you want to be on.
and you know, a lot of, you know, what kind of entertainment you want. You know, do you want to go on a cruise with no children, no kids? You know, if you do, Virgin's your game. You know, there's no kids allowed. 18 and under, I think it is. You're not getting on. It's all adults. We did a Virgin, and it was definitely no kids. I mean, you know, so it was a different type of vibe, but it was good. There's no bad cruises, or so she tells me, or I tell her.
You tell me.
Yes, you know, one of the last things too in this video I would tell you, you know, just as information, is you got to determine how much you want to spend. You know, the 3 days start, they're much cheaper. You know, they're much cheaper than every time you go up a day, the price is going to go up. You can price shop, you can get it, but you definitely want to, you know, determine your price point, and then once you do that, then you start adding all those factors in. And then you will kind of figure out, you'll see your choices will narrow. Everything's going to start wide and it's going to narrow as you go in. And once you do that, then you've kind of got a good idea of where you think you're going to go on your first cruise.
Yes, and if I would say this, if you've got any questions, you can ask them here in the comments, and we'll be glad to answer and with what information that we have with our experience that
Yes.
we've got.
And I spend hours
Researching.
researching cruises. I'm very good at where ships are going, where they've been, and where they're going to go, and the new ships. So you can ask any of those questions, and we will see you again on the ship.